Network Hump Day edition. So glad you could be here to join us today. Stuart is off again this week. Will be back sometime in July. But in the meantime, welcome back to the Rent Network, where we are live and uncensored. We are a podcast dedicated providing you with unfiltered, uncensored conversations on a wide range of topics. Let's put it this way. This podcast is dedicated to giving you the platform. And I want to thank everybody who sends the notes on social media through our emails and what have you. We want to really hear you to express your opinions, share your thoughts and experiences and ideas, and hear from a variety of perspectives and honest opinions. Join me today as I dive into the latest news, pop culture, politics, and so much more. Each rant is different and unique. We rant about the absurdity of modern life to, unfortunately, the deeper issues that are affecting us on our everyday. Folks, we've got you covered here at the Rant Network. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this journey this discovery and exploration. See, live and uncensored. So, one of the insane things in our world today is spin. And you got to love spin. And the media is phenomenal at the notion of spin. But so is the White House. The White House is filled with a bunch of spin masters who will go and will try to turn something really negative into something really, really positive. And when you look back at the Trump administration, the spin, as much as the White House tried to spin a lot of the things that Trump did, good or bad or whatever, the media unraveled it. So it made it really, really hard. But when you have a complicit White House and media, much, much easier. But what happens when you have in between? And this is the weird part about what I mean by in between. Is because when it comes to the Biden administration's treatment of the economy, you'll get mixed reaction. And believe it or not, it isn't only Fox News or Newsmax going after the Biden administration. Finally, liberal media is concerned about the status of the economy in the United States since January of 2021. Since Biden came into office, there has been a concern. Now, reality is in the first 100 days of the administration, you can't do a heck of a whole lot. But how about 2.5 years into your administration? Shouldn't we feel something? Anything? Well, according to the Washington Post, the Post says Joe Biden's never gotten a fair shake when it came up to the economy. Good or bad, people aren't happy. What do you mean, good or bad? Show me the good. Well, the claim was, we added 340,000 new jobs in the month of May. The problem that the article once again fails to express was, well, how many jobs were lost? And if you look in the tech sector alone, how many hundreds of thousands of jobs were eliminated in the tech sector by the big boys, the Googles, the Microsofts, whatever? That's not part of the whole thing. When you talk about inflation, they said, but hey, guys, it's only 4% in the month of May, which was about half of where it was a year ago. Still 4% when we, throughout a number of decades, we're not even at 2. And so when you say it's only 4%, this is the problem I have. It's a distortion of the facts. So how does the White House spin Biden? Well, how about calling it Bidenomics? Now, to me, the last time I heard a president's name kind of tied in any strong way, shape, or form into economic policy was Ronald Reagan back in the 80s with Reaganomics, his trickle-down economics, the idea of if you give more benefits to the wealthy, the rich, and what have you, that will trickle down to the rest of the people. Well, that didn't exactly happen as expected, but it was a philosophy. So the White House has decided on a Monday, Karine Jean-Pierre, the incompetent press secretary for Mr. Biden, came out and said, we have wonderful news. Americans love Bidenomics. Now, wasn't only her. Yesterday, Deputy Press Secretary Olivia Dalton repeated the same thing again. Her assertion was that his policies are incredibly popular, and Americans are, quote, starting to feel the impact of this agenda. It's almost July of 2023, and Americans are now starting to feel that impact. What the hell does that mean? Yes, we know that there was a bill put in for infrastructure. We know there was money put aside for a lot of things, but these were future projects. These were not projects that were going to drive immediate results. In the first 2 years of the Biden administration, it was all about payouts, more money. Joe Biden and his administration in the first 2 years, remember, the Democrats controlled the House, the Senate, and the White House, which means any legislation he wanted could pass through seamlessly, but didn't, because it was quite irresponsible. And Governor, Manchin, and other governors and senators, sorry, Senator Manchin, other senators, other governors, other congressmen, congresspeople were all freaking out, going, "You're spending like a teenager with a parent's credit card. You can't just throw money and expect, what are you going to do?" And like every Democrat, liberal, what have you, spend and let the next administration worry about it. Not my problem. I just want to get elected for the 8 years. And by the time I'm past, once I get elected to my second term, I could care less. So now it becomes the next administration's problem. What a crazy concept. But when asked, what is Bidenomics? Even Joe Biden, and this is the funniest thing, right? You would think that the president of the United States himself would know what it is. But even he said, "I don't know what the hell it is," but he claims it's working. 34% of Americans, 34%, pardon me, 36, according to the Yahoo YouGov poll, 36% of Americans approved of how Biden is handling the economy, according to a poll in June, but only 24% rated as excellent or good, which leaves you with a whole bunch of people truly unhappy, right? Like 64% of Americans are either neutral or just don't find Biden really there. Bidenomics. That's what they're now. That's what he's spinning. And then today he'll be in Chicago spinning Bidenomics. I mean, it's helping, according to Karine Jean-Pierre, it's helping middle-class Americans through efforts like job growth, cutting drug costs, fighting junk fees. She goes, it's pretty clever. It's pretty good. It makes good sense. It kind of flows off the tongue really well. That's the important part. Bidenomics sounds cool, so it must be good. The average American today is struggling to put food on the table still. The average American today is still struggling to fill up a tank of gas. The average American is struggling with everyday expenses, with wage cuts, effective wage cuts, if you will. And yet the Biden administration continues to say, we're wonderful, we're good, nothing is wrong. That is spin. That's the beauty of it. It's fascinating to see the ignorance of the press that many in the press will give, like MSNBC, of course, because that is the voice box of the Democrats. CNN, since Chris Licht has gone back to bashing the Republicans, gone back to promoting the Democrats. But the actual reality of the Bidenomics is that Americans are worse off than they've ever been. It's not since the Depression. And the argument is that inflation is only half of where it was last year, means still prices are still going up, wages are not matching, and people are struggling. But the Democrats don't seem to care. But a lot of others are calling Bidenomics something else. See, Bidenomics is not about filling the average American's pocket with potential money for spend, but putting money in Biden family for them to spend through bribery and extortion, whether it's Ukraine or China or what have you. And here's another part of what Bidenomics that is not being, investigated by the press. The liberal press refuses to go after Joe Biden on all of these alleged issues. IRS whistleblowers have come out and said that this type of investigation has never been done. Had it been anybody else, instead of a Hunter Biden, instead of a Joe Biden, things would have been different. And unfortunately, what has ended up happening is that the God bless the United States of America, the liberal media. Better to have a crook in Joe Biden and his family in the White House than, God forbid, have a Republican get one extra vote. That's to the extent that they are working. Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, there is proof that Bidenomics is really about extortion and bribery, about putting more money in the Biden family coffers, not in Americans. And you would think that this would just shock the American media. But they'd rather not go down that road because that would give an opportunity for the Republicans. It's actually kind of sad to see these kinds of things. That the spin, 26 straight months of negative real wage growth, unexposed. Right? Imagine. Infrastructure projects that haven't even been started, but you're saying and you're touting, you're lying. And instead of fact checking the hell out of Karine Jean-Pierre and the Biden White House, you would rather not go there. If I ignore it, it didn't happen. I can't investigate it. It shouldn't be a problem. Bidenomics is thievery. Bidenomics is about making sure that you are being lied to about your real economic status. The White House wants to make sure that you believe the bullshit, that you believe the lies coming out of the White House, that you are better off today than you were under Donald Trump. Because the assertion was when Trump left office, it was 6% unemployment. Today, we've got record lows in term, and that's what they tout. But yet, cost of living is through the roof. They're giving themselves a pat on the back because commodity prices have gone down. It has nothing to do with you. That's supply and demand. Oil prices went down, which means gas prices went down. Look, Bidenomics worked. Gas prices had nothing to do with the Biden administration and more to do with a cartel of oil producers. Wage going up to minimum wage, but yet people can't get jobs. It's just the Bidenomics has nothing to do with prosperity for the average American. It's about prospering the Biden family. It's about Biden and only Biden. So when I read the Washington Post and I see this, MSNBCs and the CNNs continuing to tout the wonderful work done by the Biden administration, and that people like, other Republicans like Marjorie Taylor Greene or others, they're lunatics. They don't know what they're doing. They're going to ruin. They're going to steal from you. They're going to this. And they spew lie after lie, unchecked, of course, not fact checked. And this is what you are telling your viewers and your listeners and your readers. But you're not willing to call out the White House, as some have done finally in a press conference. And yet the liberal media will continue to lie for the Biden administration, hide their crimes in order to ensure that you believe that Bidenomics is real and effective. Is that what you Americans want from your president? Well, that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for today's episode. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate you listening to the Rant Network. Hope you enjoyed this conversation and gained some valuable insights. We appreciate your support and join us again on Friday for more thought-provoking conversations. We're here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern, live, uncensored. In the meantime, go to our website, check out our previous rants. Go check us out on social media. We're all the place. Download it from your favorite places where you get your podcast. We truly appreciate your comments and feedback. Keep on listening, keep on ranting, and ladies and gentlemen, share us with your friends. Tell us we're there.